up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at The Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad. Naked Gun is directed by David Zucker and starring Leslie Nielsen. Let's waste no time. Make this review short and sweet as possible. Overall thoughts: I love The Naked Gun. This is a comedy movie that I remember watching so much as a young child. I always thought The Naked Gun was one of the most funniest movies I've ever seen when I was growing up as a kid. Leslie Nielsen as Lieutenant Frank Drebin is comedy gold. And what makes the character of Frank Drebin work is Leslie Nielsen's just dry, straight-laced performance as Lieutenant Frank Drebin. The whole this entire movie is pretty much a parody of like film noir cop movies. Like it pretends to have a serious tone, but it's just downright ugly. But it's just downright goofy and ridiculousness. And what makes this movie work is that for the most part, the actors play everything totally straight. Leslie Nielsen as Lieutenant Frank Drebin, he plays it totally straight, even when he's doing these off the wall, just slapsticky type of gags. It's utterly hysterical, and Leslie Nielsen's performance is fantastic. Priscilla Presley, who plays the character of Jane, I know the romance between Frank and Jane is actually pretty funny. It's actually pretty good, and it's memorable for the fact that they pretty much did the song Hermit's Hermits, something there to remind me. They did a whole montage and they made it and they shot it like it was a music video, and it creates the illusion that these two are dating forever, when in actuality it was it was their second date. It was pretty much done as like their first official date. It's hysterical, it's funny, it's stupid, and I thought Priscilla Presley and Leslie Nielsen, just as a whole, I thought they have decent on-screen chemistry with one another, and I like the characters of Frank and Jane. George Kennedy, who plays the character of Ed Hawken, who is Frank's partner, I like George Kennedy. He's straight-laced like Leslie Nielsen. If anything, I think we could have gotten a little bit more of George Kennedy, of Ed and Drebin doing more work together. To me, Hawken is kind of like peppered throughout the entire movie, as is the character of Nordberg, played by O.J. Simpson. Now, all personal feelings on O.J. Simpson aside, I actually think he's really, really funny in this movie. He appears in the very first scene where he tries to stop a drug bust on a boat. He gets shot at, and then he pretty much does his own, and then O.J. does this very prolonged slapstick stunt, which is utterly hysterical, where he's bumping into wet walls, getting his face in cake, and he got shot, and all the bullets missed all the vital organs. So I got to give O.J. Simpson a lot of credit for his performance in that one scene. And that's another thing. I think O.J. should have been peppered throughout this movie maybe a little bit more, instead of just appearing in the beginning, and then at the end of the movie where it pretty much says, "Hey, he's gonna be back on the forces in a week," and then and then his wheelchair tips over and he goes flying into the air. The whole last act of this movie is utterly hysterical. It takes place during a baseball game, and it's ridiculously funny. Frank has to disguise himself as an umpire to try and find out which baseball player is an assassin, because this character of Ludwig, played by Ricardo Montalban, plans to assassinate the Queen of England, and his grand plan is to have the assassination take place at a baseball game, and that entire third act to me is really, really funny. I thought Ricardo Montalban as a whole, as the villain Ludwig, I thought he was good in this movie as well. Again, like Nielsen, Montalban played the role entirely straight, and to me, Ludwig comes across as a very memorable villain. He has a very off-the-wall, convoluted plan, but in the confines of a parody movie like this, it makes a lot of sense, and you got some good comedic mileage out of it. So yeah, that's one of the things I like about this movie, is that it milks the comedic mileage for all it's worth. Like the opening scene when when Drebin's in Beirut beating up a bunch of terrorists. That scene's hilarious. The stuff with Nordberg is hilarious. The stuff just Frank Drebin alone getting involved, doing a bunch of slapsticky things, like getting into a car chase with a doctor who's being mind controlled, which is utterly ridiculous and stupid. And then you get to the great scene where like a building's exploding all like right behind him. He's just like, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. That's funny stuff. If there's one gag that I did not care for in this movie, it's a hospital scene with Norberg's wife, who constantly just cries and wails and cries and wails after Frank just comes up with something ridiculous about saying how Norberg may or may not survive. I thought that scene was not really funny. I don't think it holds up to me. It comes across as really annoying. But the movie as a whole is actually really good. It's, to me, still holds up. The comedy is really well done and very well integrated. And the performances are a lot of fun. Every actor in this movie looks like they're enjoying themselves. And you're making a movie called The Naked Gun where you can just act goofy and act fun. And to me, The Naked Gun accomplishes exactly that. So at the end of the day, to me, first Naked Gun movie gets a solid 8 out of 10. I enjoyed still. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.